What's going on, fellow YouTubers and subscribers? Welcome back to Money and Life TV. Alright guys, in today's video, Chipper and I have a free personal financial statement template for you. Like I said, it's completely free and I'll show you where you can go to download it at the end of this video. I want to make this video, keep it as short as possible, so let's go ahead and get started. When it's all said and done, it's going to look something like this. As you can see, we're entirely using Excel for this personal financial statement. Let me go to the print preview. It's kind of hard to zoom in, but it's going to look something like this. So you're going to have comparative Excel personal financial statements. Now, just so you guys know, before we really dive into this, if you're new to finances, investing, and taxes and that sort of thing, personal financial statements are a real thing. As a CPA, I've been doing accounting now for over 7 years, and I've prepared several real-life personal financial statements, and the format looks similar to this, okay? So I've pulled a similar format, I've customized it and made it my own from an original template that I found online. In real life, personal financial statements can be used to help you get a loan for a business. It might be used in some cases when you're applying to get a mortgage, things like that. So help you get financing, credit and all that kind of stuff. It's good to have something to show the banker that your finances are in order, and a personal financial statement is a fantastic way to do that. But beyond the act of just getting a loan, it provides so much more value, in my opinion, just for the sake of tracking your own net worth and actually realizing what you have. It is so valuable to do this process. If I were to start over from the beginning, what I recommend to people is when they're first starting off with their finances, they should start off by creating a personal financial statement and a budget. These two things are the things that are going to help them get started. This is an example. I'm just using Chipper. Chipper has volunteered to help us out.
I'm here.
He's showing us his own personal financial statement. Over to the side of this template, I've prepared a few notes for you guys to help you figure this stuff out. And so your step one is to prepare a list of all the assets and liabilities at their current fair market value or their current debt balance at the date of the financials. And you guys can do financials for any date you want. I'm just doing, as this example, 12/31/18. This is all hypothetical, but you could make these financials for June 30th of 2018 if you wanted to, whatever month you want, okay? It's completely up to you. But I like to do this process for myself and my family at least once a year personally. So the first step is to obviously write a list of assets and your liabilities at that date and write out their values. You can use the Asset tab, which we're about to go over, to list out all of your assets. You can use the Liabilities tab to prepare a list of liabilities. And step two, you can add or remove lines as needed on this page to customize the financials to your particular situation. So if there's a description on here, whether it's under the assets or liabilities, and it's not what you need, you can either right-click on this and delete, or you can do right-click and insert line if you want, and then type in a new description for whatever asset you own or liability you own. You can also hide, guys. If you just want 1 year's worth of activity, you don't want to see all this comparative information, you can just hold shift and left click, and then you can hide all of this if you want, so that you're just showing 1 year's worth of financial data. But it's totally up to you. It's totally customizable. You make it. If you don't like this format, guys, make it the way you want it. Like, I don't care. You're not going to offend me if you change the format. The point of this whole video is to give you something to work from and customize it to your own ability, to your own liking, so that you can find it useful in your own life. That's the whole point of this video, so I want to make that clear. Things to remember, guys, is that your net worth is your total assets minus your total liabilities. Once again, your net worth is your total assets minus your total liabilities. In case nobody's ever told you that, many people don't know how to calculate that. It's pretty simple. So your total assets minus your total liabilities is what your net worth is. Now, for many people, because many people are in debt, so you might find that you actually have a negative net worth, and that's okay. We all start somewhere, but it's good to know that you actually have a negative net worth, and you can work from there. So if this number is negative, then it's no big deal. It's just like that's where you're at, but hopefully you'll have a positive net worth, and you can grow your net worth from here, knowing what your net worth is if you've never done this process before. And I just want to say I recommend linking the 2018 information in Excel to each of your assets and liability tabs. We're going to look at that in a second, so that whenever you update these account balances, your financials will update automatically, so you do not have to hand key in the numbers every time. I'm going to show you guys that. Note, for comparative column to work properly, and oops, that's a typo, that says property.
No!
So for the comparative column over here, what I recommend you do is you hard key in these numbers so they do not change, so that as you go from year to year, you're going to keep that financial information consistent year after year after year. The only column I recommend you link is this one, is your current year column for whatever year in it, whether it's 2018, 2019. Make sure this is linked. But this one is hard keyed, so just remember that. Last but not least, guys, after each year is complete, I suggest saving this file as financial statements 2018, and then for 2019, save a new Excel file called financial statements 2019. So each year you do this, you'll have your hard keyed numbers here in this column, your current year numbers here, and then if we want to flip this to 2019, we're going to go to File, Save As, Excel Workbook, and create a whole new file and call it Financial Statements 2019. That way, you're going to have all of your previous data saved. It won't be touched. You won't accidentally delete things or add things, and that way you can keep a clean history of your financials and your net worth over time. That's what I recommend, and that is what I personally do, and it's worked fantastic. I've been doing this for about 4 years, and every year I can watch my net worth grow, and whenever I want to look back in the past and see where my net worth is at, I can just click on one of my older financial statement worksheets. I realize, guys, I'm going over this kind of fast, but that's intentional, so just be sure to ask questions. Feel free to ask any questions you want about this. I'd be happy to help. Just make sure you leave them in that comment section down below, and I will get back to you guys. Okay, so those were the notes. Now let's just look at a couple examples and we'll wrap up this video. Now this is what it's going to come out like in the end, okay? So like I said, remember for 2017, the previous year, I had to hard key these numbers in for Chipper's financials. But for 2018, let me show you where things are linked. So if I click on cash, as you guys can see, it has a link up here to the assets tab. That's what that means when it says equals assets. So down in the assets tab, this is where you can enter all your asset information. Let me zoom in for you guys so you guys can see that. In the asset tab now, this is where you can enter all of your asset detail. So I've broken it out by cash. I have, then I have it by type of cash account, checking account, saving accounts, money market accounts, certificate of deposits if you had any. And you guys can, like I said, customize this however you want. If you don't like this, well then just make it the way you want. It's not a big deal. Then notes and contracts held. Then, this is for accounts receivable notes if somebody owes you money, brokerage accounts. So if you had, let's say you had an account with TD Ameritrade or you have your Robinhood, you would enter your total market value of your Robinhood accounts right here. Retirement accounts, if you have retirement assets, so your Roth IRAs, we have 2 of them. In this case, Chipper has 2 as well. 401ks, maybe you and your spouse both have 401ks, so however many accounts you have there. And then other assets, maybe you have gold, maybe you have cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or that kind of stuff, you can enter it right there. Personal effects, so this is like your cars. You estimate the value of your car. You can look on Kelley Blue Book. That's what I typically do for the current market price of your car if you were to sell it. Furniture and electronics, you can just estimate. Jewelry. So all these things are things that go into impact your personal and financial statements. These are all the things that I see as a CPA in the real world that people own and have. So that's kind of why I've listed it out this way. And of course, real estate, the value of your home. You can use, Zillow is on a totally accurate estimate, but, you can use the Z estimate as just a rough number, but, your house could be worth more or less than the Zillow estimate, obviously. So things like that. And then at the bottom of this, you'll have the total of all of your assets will be, will add up. It'll add up all these columns, all these totals for each type of asset you have so that it arrives at your total asset number. Now, if we go back, so here's our total asset number. If we go back to the main page, you'll see that matches the total asset number. So this number right here should match the total asset number you have right here. If not, it means something is missing from this. Maybe you're missing a line, or maybe you're missing a link here, or maybe your formulas here are not adding up right. So you just look for those kind of errors within the spreadsheet. But real quickly, so you guys can see how I link this if you want to link it. This is the cash account, okay? So I have my total cash balance here of all my cash accounts for Chipper, and then Chipper's checking account, savings accounts, things like that. This is the total amount of cash. So if I go to the comparative worksheet or over here, you'll see that these cash lines right here, if I add those all up, it equals $71,250, which matches this, $71,250. And the way to link that is you would just come here and you would hit the equal button. If you're new to Excel, hit the equal button, and then go to the Assets tab, and we want to link that 1250 because that's the checking account. We're going to left click on that and hit enter. And now that number is linked to that, so that whenever you update this, so let's say like I have all of a sudden I have a $20,000 certificate of deposit. Right away my total cash updates here, and then on my comparative column, this came into play now. So now all of a sudden there's $20,000 here showing the certificate of deposit. Links are great because it will automatically do it for you once you have them set up, and it becomes very easy to update going forward. And this is all done for you guys. You just have to do a little tweaking to make it your own, and then you're good to go. And so that's basically how the assets column works. So let me remove the certificates of deposit, and that will get that back in line. Now, just real quickly, let's look at liabilities, because you guys can really study this in your own time and see what's available. So you have for your liabilities, credit cards. So you might have multiple credit cards. Chipper only has one, and so he's got a credit card balance of $500. So if we come to the comparative worksheet, if we go down right here, we can see that Chipper's current debt on credit card accounts is $500. It's linked. It's totally linked, just like the Assets tab was. So here's the total credit card debt. If you have bank loans, personal loans with a bank, you'd list them here. If you have a mortgage, and Chipper owes $98,000 on his mortgage. If you have student loans, so Chipper has some student loans in this case. Luckily, mine are all paid off at this point in my life, thank God. But this is where all that information would be. Remember, guys, on both the Assets and Liabilities tab, you can customize it. You can add lines, whatever you want to do to make it fit your unique personal situation, because everybody's life is completely unique. But then that's why I like Excel, is because you can customize Excel with some basic knowledge however you want. At the bottom of this screen, guys, is the total debt of all debt. It will add up all these columns just like it did on the assets screen. It will add up all those amounts here. And so if you go to comparative right here, there's your total liabilities. So your total liabilities here should match your total liabilities of all your debt right here. So that's kind of a way to check yourself, to check your math, to make sure all the formulas are correct, everything's included, you're not missing anything within your links and your formulas and all things like that. The last part of this worksheet I've included as a comparative column, and it will show both the change in dollar value from year to year for each asset, also the percentage change or increase from asset to asset. Now, if there's nothing for it to compare it to, then it's going to show 0, or there's going to be nothing there. So you're going to have to add a formula, because if I add a formula right now with no information, it's going to show that ugly thing of div. Oh, it's like a formula error. And so that's why, I don't have anything there. But if you want to drag this down, once you have if you have information in these columns, just click this little guy here and drag it down, and then it will update automatically for you once you have your numbers here. So this will show you the dollar change. So from 2017, Chipper's checking account had $1,000. In 2018, it has $1,250. So that's a $250 change. So all the way down, it shows the change in Chipper's assets, and it also shows the change in Chipper's liabilities. So for credit cards, for example, is in the liability section. In 2017, Chipper was spending a lot of money on all those hot video games, and so he had rung up $2,500 in credit card debt. But now in 2018, we can see he's paid that down to $500. So that's why the change is negative here. It's a decrease of $2,000 and an overall decrease in Chipper's credit card debt of 80%. And at the bottom here for you is the net change of everything. So the bottom line, the last line of this spreadsheet, is the net worth. So as you can see, Chipper's net worth in 2017 was $543,500. But in 2018, Chipper has been making good money at his job. He's been saving, he's been investing, things like that. The market's been going up, so Chipper's investments are increasing the value of his net worth. His mortgage is going down, the value of his home is going up, things like that. And so his overall dollar change in net worth is $100,000. So Chipper had a $100,000 increase in his net worth, and which is an overall an 18.5% net increase.
Damn, I'm good.
And so I can tell you guys that over the past 5 years, for my wife and I, we've been able to increase our net worth on average anywhere from 15 to 20% every single year. And it's really motivating to do this every single year. If you go through this process, add up all your liabilities, all of your assets, and drop in these numbers in your prior year column, enter your updated asset information towards the end of the year, and you'll be getting this stuff. This information really is going to come from your cash accounts. It's going to come from your bank statements. That's where you're going to find that. Your brokerage account value, you can look online, or you can look at your December 31st statement of 2018. If you were doing this for 2018 of December, that's where you would find the fair market value of your brokerage account. And so you were just really gathering the statements that would provide you these balances. So like I said, for your mortgage value, you can estimate, not your mortgage, I'm sorry. So for the value of your home, you can estimate what it is. If Zillow says it's like $315,000, if you want to use that Z estimate, even though, like I said, it's not totally accurate, you can do that. You can use, you can look at your retirement statements from your retirement accounts to figure out what the value of your 401k is. So there's all these things you can do. I think you guys get the point. And so that's why I want to wrap up the video here. And like I said, in the end, you're going to have a clean, if I go to print preview, you're going to have a clean financial statement that you can use every single year. You just save a new file and update it to the next year, and the next year, and the next year, and you'll have a clean history of how you grew your net worth every single year for the rest of your life. And you can really get your finances in order this way. I want you guys to also remember, I do have a free budget template. I don't know if you guys know that, if you're new to the channel, but I will link up that video down below in that spreadsheet, as well as a link to this spreadsheet. This spreadsheet you can find in a Dropbox link down in this description section down below this video. And just go ahead and click it, that link, and you can download it for yourself. It's completely free. I promise there's no strings attached. That's right. I put all this time to making this, and I've made it completely free for you guys, so you can do your financial statements kind of like I do if you want. Or, like I said, make it however the heck you want. I don't care. Whatever works for you guys, that's what this is really about. Okay, guys, well, I'm going to wrap up the video right here. Thank you so much for your support on this channel. If you have any questions at all about how this works, or just questions in general, feel free to ask. You guys can ask me questions anytime you want. Just leave them down in that comment section down below. I'll make sure to get back to you. If you liked the video, be sure to drop a like before you leave. Share this information with a friend, especially somebody who's looking to improve their finances. This is a great template that you can share with your friends and family, and so everybody can track their net worth, and maybe you can compete against one another if you're both trying to improve your finances, pay down debt, or whatever at the same time. It'd be a fun competition. And last but not least, guys, if you're new to the channel, well, welcome. This channel is all about helping you become fiscally fit as we teach finances, investing, and taxes on a regular basis on this channel. Usually I'm able to post a new video every single week. Thank you so much, everybody, for all the support you give me on this channel. I can't thank you enough, and I will see you guys in the next video. And remember, use this information that you learned here today to live your life uncaged. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Take care, everybody. Peace.
Don't you put words in my mouth. Don't try to shut me up. I'm not about